Guys, welcome to the channel. Let's go to more videos, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Leonard Williams sets NFL record with 92-yard pick six to lead Seahawks past Jets in victory. Seattle Seahawks coach Mike Macdonald jokingly nominated punter Michael Dickson as honorary player of the game after he was unavailable in the fourth quarter, which led to a key fourth down conversion. However, Macdonald was serious when he highlighted Leonard Williams as a candidate for NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Williams, the veteran defensive tackle, put on a stellar performance in the Seahawks' 26-21 victory over the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium, marking his second consecutive dominant outing. His performance was highlighted by a historic 92-yard interception return for a touchdown, the longest pick six ever by a defensive lineman in NFL history, according to ESPN research. Williams' remarkable interception occurred during a critical moment in the second quarter, as the Jets were threatening to extend a 21-7 lead. With the Jets facing a 3rd and 7 from the Seattle 9-yard line, Macdonald called a defensive play that saw Williams, typically positioned as a nose tackle, drop into coverage. He intercepted a short pass from Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson, tipped it with his left hand, and then caught it in stride. Williams, listed at 6'5" and 310 pounds, showcased his agility by breaking a tackle and racing untouched down the left sideline, setting an NFL record for a defensive tackle's longest interception return. Despite the surprise of the play, Williams, a 30-year-old defensive lineman, credited his success to a fortunate bounce that allowed him the time to catch the ball and make a play. As he sprinted downfield, Williams considered pitching the ball to someone else but decided against it as his teammates, including cornerback Devin Witherspoon, ran alongside him in support. He reached a top speed of 17.8 miles per hour, the fastest by any defensive lineman on any play since the 2022 season. It was a moment of pride for Williams, though he was too winded to celebrate properly, opting instead to lie down after the play and catch his breath. Williams' performance didn't end with the pick six. He also registered 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss, and blocked a PAT. His efforts were crucial in securing Seattle's 3rd straight win, giving them sole possession of first place in the NFC West with a 7-5 record. Seahawks safety Julian Love praised Williams' remarkable athleticism, noting that despite some great blocks, no one would have caught him on the return. Williams' performance stood out as one of the best in the league, and Macdonald echoed that sentiment, describing Williams as playing out of his mind and at an elite level. The game also saw a controversial turn of events when Williams, frustrated at not receiving the NFC Defensive Player of the Week award the previous week, seemed to play with a chip on his shoulder. He had felt deserving of the honor after his 2.5 sack performance against the Arizona Cardinals, but was overshadowed by teammate Kobe Bryant, who won the award after his own pick six. Motivated by this snub, Williams made his statement with the historic interception, reaffirming his status as a key player for the Seahawks. Seattle acquired Williams in a trade before the 2022 season, sending a package that included a second-round pick to the New York Giants. They later re-signed him in March to a 3-year, $64.5 million contract, making him the highest-paid defensive player in franchise history. His recent performances have justified the hefty investment. Despite battling through a foot injury, Williams has accumulated 7 sacks in 11 games this season, alongside 10 tackles for loss and his pick six. He ranks 3rd among interior defenders in pass rush win rate, playing a pivotal role in Seattle's defensive turnaround over the past 4 games. Williams' contributions were critical in the Seahawks win, as he helped to shut down the Jets' final drive, securing 2 sacks in the process. Despite being flagged for a face mask penalty in the first quarter, he remained a constant presence in the Jets' backfield. His defensive dominance has made him a key figure in Seattle's recent success. The Seahawks defense, bolstered by Williams, has been playing at a higher level, and Macdonald stated that he believes there's no one performing better in the NFL at the moment than Williams. The victory was not without its challenges for Seattle, particularly on special teams. Punter Michael Dickson left the game in the fourth quarter with back spasms, leaving Seattle's special teams in disarray. Coach McDonald faced a tough decision in the fourth quarter when Seattle was down 21-19 and faced a 4th and 6 from their own 33-yard line. Opting not to have place kicker Jason Myers punt, McDonald elected to go for it. A penalty on the Jets moved the ball to 4th and 1, and then a defensive pass interference call on the Jets extended the drive, which culminated in Zach Charbonnet's 8-yard game-winning touchdown run. Quarterback Geno Smith, who orchestrated his 8th game-winning drive since last season, praised the team's resilience during the chaotic game. Despite the craziness of the first half, including multiple turnovers and special teams mistakes, Smith credited the team's leadership and cohesion for their ability to weather the storm. Williams' game-changing play was a turning point, and the Seahawks defense, led by Williams, helped close out the game and secure the win. Williams was unaware during the post-game interview that his pick six had set an NFL record, but he was clearly pleased with the historic achievement, responding with a proud "history, baby." Jets remain tepid on Aaron Rodgers' starting role after disappointing loss to Seahawks. The New York Jets' disappointing season took another turn as quarterback Aaron Rodgers' job security came into question following a poor performance in a 26-21 loss to the Seattle Seahawks. On the eve of his 41st birthday, Rodgers had one of his worst games, throwing a red zone interception and a game-changing pick six in the second quarter. Interim coach Jeff Ulbrich's response to Rodgers' play was underwhelming, offering no clear defense or support for the veteran quarterback. Ulbrich declined to give a definitive assessment, opting instead to review the game film, even when asked about the possibility of replacing Rodgers. His ambiguous remarks fueled speculation about the future of Rodgers in the starting role. Rodgers, who has been instrumental in the Jets' hopes this season, was non-committal about the potential benching, noting he would discuss any concerns with Ulbrich if necessary. Despite his struggles, Rodgers expressed confidence in his physical condition, stating he feels as good as I've felt all season. However, his performance on the field, 21 completions out of 39 attempts for 185 yards, has been far from stellar, failing to reach 200 yards for the third consecutive game. He has also struggled in clutch moments, particularly when the Jets had a chance to win in the final minutes but faltered, ending the game with an incomplete pass on their last possession. One key moment in the game that shifted the momentum was Rodgers' red zone interception, which turned into a 92-yard pick six by former Jets defensive tackle Leonard Williams. Rodgers admitted to not seeing Williams, who had dropped into coverage and tipped the ball. The interception reduced the Jets' lead from 21-7 to 21-13, a crucial swing in a game that they would eventually lose. Rodgers acknowledged that plays like this, particularly in the second quarter, ultimately cost the team the game, highlighting his own missteps but also pointing to other factors that contributed to the defeat. Despite throwing a touchdown pass to wide receiver Davante Adams and another to running back Isaiah Davis, Rodgers' accuracy was a concern, particularly on long throws. He completed only 2 of 14 passes that traveled more than 10 yards in the air. His frustration was evident, but he shifted some of the blame to his teammates, acknowledging that while he made mistakes, others were also responsible for the loss. This comment reflects Rodgers' careful approach to managing team dynamics, as he understands the importance of maintaining morale in a season marked by failure. As the Jets continue to spiral to a 3-9 record, with their 9th consecutive losing season all but sealed, the frustration within the team is palpable. Running back Breece Hall, who contributed to the loss with a costly fumble, expressed his personal disappointment, stating that this year has been one of the hardest of his life. Cornerback Sauce Gardner echoed the sentiment, calling the team's performance unacceptable. The Jets' season is unraveling, and with it, the future of Aaron Rodgers in New York remains uncertain, making the final stretch of the season a critical time for the franchise to decide on its direction. Long-term Seahawks commitment unlikely for Geno Smith. Geno Smith attempted to work out an extension this summer, but it quickly became clear the Seahawks were not interested in doing so. As a result, the veteran quarterback is set to play out the 2025 campaign, the final season of his 3-year, $75 million deal worked out last spring. That pact calls for $25 million in compensation for the 2025 campaign, including a $10 million roster bonus set to kick in shortly after the start of the new league year in March. With none of Smith's base salary for the year guaranteed, a window of opportunity exists for Seattle to move on if the team decides to do so. While that would represent a surprise, another multi-year commitment should also not be expected at this point. ESPN's Brady Henderson writes a long-term pact near the top of the QB market is much less likely than another deal aimed at providing more stability in the immediate future. A short-term deal which allows Smith to increase his 2025 earnings with new guarantees would be a reasonable approach given the extent to which he has succeeded in filling a role atop the QB depth chart over the past 3 years. Questions surrounded Seattle's future at the position after the Russell Wilson trade, but Smith has proven to be a capable replacement with a resume now featuring the Comeback Player of the Year award in 2022 and Pro Bowl nods for each of the past 2 seasons. The West Virginia product has seen a slight downturn in passer rating, 88.9, along with an underwhelming touchdown-to-interception ratio, 13-12, this year with the Seahawks struggling up front and with respect to the ground game. Still, Seattle sits atop the NFC West with a 7-5 record, and a second playoff berth in the past 3 years is therefore a distinct possibility. Strong play down the stretch would help Smith's case to secure at least an upgraded compensation package over the short term. His $25 million AAV ranks 19th amongst quarterbacks, although age is of course a factor working against the 34-year-old on that front. A move toward the top of the market, which is now $60 million per season, would require a massive raise, but an incremental one, via new guarantees and/or incentives, could be feasible but still challenging for a Seahawks team currently projected to be over the cap next season. Former Commanders draftee Sam Howell is under contract for next year, but he will no doubt still be seen as a backup option by Seattle at this point. Smith said in October he plans on playing 20 seasons in the NFL. Reaching that mark will require multiple new contracts down the road, the first of which could be worked out this winter. How negotiations on that front proceed will be a key storyline for the Seahawks if they look to retain Smith, but also leave the door open to a successor in the not-too-distant future. Seattle Seahawks star Leonard Williams, named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Renton, Washington. In a surprise to absolutely no one who watched Sunday's game against the New York Jets, Seattle Seahawks defensive lineman Leonard Williams was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week for his standout performance. Williams had a 92-yard interception return for a touchdown, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and a blocked extra point in helping lead the Seahawks to a 26-21 victory. Per the NFL, Williams is the first player with multiple sacks, an interception returned for a touchdown, and a blocked kick in the same game. Cariacica. Discover unsold power generator options. Explore unsold generators. Tectome.net. Sponsored. Learn more. We think he's been playing at an elite level the whole year, and we're happy for his recognition, head coach Mike McDonald said. But now hey, teams know. So, he's going to be a massive part of their game plans, we expect. So, more preparation, more urgency. We have to be aware of that as coaches, but he's got to keep doing what he's doing and keep the pedal to the metal. Williams could very easily have won the award in back-to-back weeks. Seahawks safety Kobe Bryant won the award the week before with his pick six of Kyler Murray in Seattle's 16-6 win over the Arizona Cardinals. However, Williams had 6 tackles with 2.5 sacks and 4 quarterback hits as he caused havoc for Arizona's offense all game as well. McDonald and safety Julian Love were already campaigning for Williams to win the award post-game in New York on Sunday. I think right now, he's playing at a Defensive Player of the Year level caliber. For sure, Player of the Month, safety Julian Love said. It's the 3rd Player of the Week award of Williams' career. He won the award twice during the 2020 season the New York Giants. Williams said Sunday he believes his play this season is every bit that level and probably even better overall. There was a season I had 11.5 sacks, and I think I won Defensive Player of the Week 2 or 3 times that year. So it's kind of close to that season, Williams said. But even that season, I don't think was as dominant as what I'm doing right now, just because I don't think necessarily the stats always say the full picture. And I think now just being older, more mature, understanding what I Understanding my strengths and understanding the offense more just allows me to play it fast. And I just feel like I got more grown man strength now, and I just feel like even when I'm not making a play, I just feel like I'm more dominant on the field. Williams is the first Seahawks defensive lineman to earn Defensive Player of the Week honors since Jadeveon Clowney in 2019, and the first Seahawks defensive tackle to earn that honor since Cortez Kennedy in 1997. Mike Macdonald back with team after birth of son Jack David Macdonald. Head coach Mike Macdonald was back with the Seahawks on Wednesday after his wife, Stephanie, gave birth to their first child, Jack David Macdonald, on Tuesday night. "Steph had our boy last night, and both are happy and healthy," Macdonald said. "That's kind of a crazy statement to say out loud, but we're really excited, really blessed, obviously. Man, what a woman can do is just an unbelievable thing. What a warrior she is. She's awesome. I'll see her later on here at the hospital, but it was an incredible night. I'm just thankful for everybody at the hospital. The doctors, nurses, those people are a plus in what they do. It's pretty awesome. That's what they do every day, the stuff they work through. Just really blessed, really excited, can't wait to see him again tonight." Macdonald got word on Monday that his wife had begun labor after doing his weekly radio show on Seattle Sports 7:10 a.m. that morning. Assistant head coach Leslie Frazier filled in to speak with reporters Monday afternoon, with Macdonald leaving to join his wife at the hospital. "I want to thank Les and all the rest of the people holding down the fort," Macdonald said. "I really appreciate all their attitudes. Players have been great, they're excited. Good times. That's one of the reasons why we wanted Les here so bad and why we're really grateful to have him. I trust him with anything and everything under the sun. This is one of those things that I definitely didn't expect to happen like that, but man, what an awesome resource and asset to our organization and football team, so we're thankful for him." Notes? Mike Macdonald said that Sateo Alaume will remain in the starting lineup at right guard this week after getting his first start on Sunday against the New York Jets. "That's the plan right now," Macdonald said. "There were a couple of mistakes to start out the game, but you're talking about a rookie playing in his first meaningful NFL action. We felt him out there. I thought he did a great job getting used to the game. Excited about him. But that's the plan right now. Let's stick with Dawa." Wide receiver DK Metcalf said he was concerned his knee injury on Sunday in New York was serious initially as his whole leg went numb. "My foot went numb. I've never felt that. The only other time I felt that was when I broke my neck. My arm went numb and it felt like it was on fire. And that same thing that happened in the game, my foot was numb," Metcalf said. Metcalf spoke with team doctor Ed Calfayan on the sidelines as he was being evaluated. He told Calfayan it felt like he had a puddle of blood in his cleat. "He just started pressing my foot and he was like, 'Does that hurt?' I was like, 'No,' he said, 'Oh, you're going to be fine.' And then I was like, 'All right, bet,'" Metcalf said. Metcalf said Calfayan told him he had his peroneal nerve hit, which caused his leg to numb and likened it to hitting your funny bone. Macdonald said the return jobs on both kickoff return and punt return are up for grabs after the unit had 3 fumbles in Sunday's win over the Jets. "I'd say both returner spots and the punt and the kickoff return game, we're still working through," Macdonald said. "So, we don't have an answer quite yet. We have some people that we're going to be working at those spots, D. Williams, included. I just don't have an answer for you exactly what we're going to do right now." The team waived Laviska Shenault Jr. on Monday after he had 2 fumbles, losing one, on 2 dropped catches of kickoffs. Williams also lost a fumble on a kickoff return, but that was at least forced on a tackle by Keen Nwangwu. Running backs Kenny McIntosh and Zach Charbonnet were catching kicks early in practice on Wednesday. McIntosh and wide receiver Cody White handled return duties when Williams and Shenault were injured against the San Francisco 49ers. Rams rookie says Seahawks fans are the worst. The rivalry between the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams has been quite one-sided as of late, and unfortunately not in the Seahawks' favor. But that hasn't changed the strong disdain both teams have for each other. Just a few weeks ago, the Seahawks and Rams met up for an afternoon thriller in Seattle, which the Rams won 26-20 in overtime. The Seahawks were obviously upset about the loss, before winning their next 3 games to take the lead in the division. The Rams, or at least one of their star players, was upset in a different way. Recently, Rams defensive lineman Braden Fiske was asked on the Up and Adams show what his favorite sack was throughout his strong rookie season. For a potentially surprising reason, the second-round pick answered with one of the 2 he had against the Seahawks. Any of the Seattle ones. I'm tired of hearing from their fans, that's why, Fiske said. Oh yeah, Seattle fans are the worst. You walk into the stadium, you got the same guy that stands there with the sign, you know, he's always chirping, whatever he's got going on. I try to stay off social media, but the fans get me. Those Seattle fans, they don't stop. What a way to stoke the flames. Seahawks fans are certainly a passionate bunch, but this seems like a first for the fanbase, or at least something that doesn't happen too often. For Fiske to feel as he does after playing just 1 game against Seattle, it shows how much these 2 teams and their fans don't like each other. The Seahawks and Rams will meet again in Los Angeles for the final game of the regular season on January 5th, a game that could have huge NFC West implications depending on what happens beforehand. Even if it doesn't, though, it's safe to say that there will be no love lost between the 2 rivals. And you fans? What do you think of this news? Leave your opinion in the comments.